Everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Paris the Empress. I'm here again with another video. And I'm gonna try to make this video hella fast because of the fact that I just had to run my optimized idle just to make it cool in here a little bit, and I was filming during that time, which was a bad idea for me because the whole entire time I was able to hear it being an idle. So I was like, I don't want to hear background noise, so let me just go ahead and just redo it. Because I was on a tangent for like 22 minutes. I was like, I'm so mad. But yes, I saw The Avengers. It was a good movie. I cried. I was mad at the people who died. No, I wasn't mad at them. I was mad that they had to die. Let me just say it like that. I was mad that they had to die. And then, you know what it reminded me of? You guys remember the last season of Game of Thrones? I hated that season so much. The way Arya just... Okay, first of all, if you guys have not seen the last season of Game of Thrones, okay, either you haven't seen the last season of Game of Thrones and don't want the spoilers, you have an interest in seeing the Game of Thrones and don't want the spoilers, just skip this section. And I'll make sure that it's at least 5. Make sure that it's at least 5 minutes where I just go on a tangent. But I was mad at how fast it took for Arya, well, how fast it took for the Night King to end up dying. Had tuned in from the time that Game of Thrones came out, and I think it came out in 2011. In 2012 is when it first came out. It came out around the time that The Walking Dead came out. So I'm like, that last season came out, I was like, man, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be cool. And then Arya kills the Night King. I was like, so all my anticipation, everything that I was waiting for, just like that. All we needed was Arya. Fuck this show. I was so mad. I was so mad because it should not have taken Arya. Just like, damn. Okay, so she's been the secret the whole entire time. Okay, all right. I guess that's how the Night King is gonna die. And then we see Khaleesi go crazy with the dragons, burning everything. We see Jaime and Cersei just die together. And we see, who else died? I know half of the cast died. Like the battle. Sansa survived. Khaleesi ended up passing, I'm pretty sure, because Jon Snow stabbed her. Then we find out that Jon Snow and Khaleesi are actually related. I was like, yo, that's your auntie. Hopefully there's a better ending in the books, basically. So, okay, now I'm gonna get back on subject because I think I got off subject for a little bit. So, my first month, not my first week, but my first month has been filled with things that most rookies go through. Mishaps, mistakes, you know, things like that. But I've gotten through it. I have. I decided not to stay over the road, and instead I decided to go regional a little bit so that way I can get accustomed to the truck. So far so good. And one thing that I've learned and I've had to remind myself is just stay calm. Don't worry about anybody else. Worry about yourself. Stay in your own lane. Keep to yourself. In so many situations, just keep to yourself. And focus. That's it. And don't rush, because when you rush is when you end up making mistakes. And don't be complacent. Don't feel as though you completely never get to a point to where you're not afraid of the truck. That goes for any vehicle. Even if you have a personal car. Because as fast as you can go on the road with that personal car, it's how easy. As governed as that truck can be when you are company, even lease, because there's still a governed setting, because you're still practically paying money to a company to own that truck. No matter how governed it is, you can still make a mistake. You still can. So that's the biggest thing that I've practically had to tell myself, because I've had moments where I've just felt like quitting. I told one of my friends, I woke up one day after a 10-hour reset and I looked around. I was like, oh, I'm still trucking. I'm still in a truck. So it happens. But the thing that stays in my mind is something that my old manager told me when I was working at a call center that some of you are probably familiar with. I used to work for UHC. I used to work in health insurance. And my manager, he told me, if you ever have a moment where you want to quit trucking, think about what you used to do. Because I used to be a medical claims processor and I used to take calls as well. So I was what you would call a hybrid specialist, where practically you would just walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. In other words, you would just multitask. You would process claims while you would be on the phone with a person. So I would have moments where I would just think about, do I really want to work in a call center again? Dealing with displaced anger, dealing with people that don't understand how an interest rate works, because I used to work in collections too. Dealing with people just being mad for no reason, which falls into displaced anger, and being cursed out. Because the only industry where I've been cursed out in hasn't even been trucking. It's been in a call center. it's been in a call center. It has. It's been in a call center. I'll be real with you guys. So that's what I think about. Is that the life that I really want to go back to? And there's still some other things that I'm thinking about doing. I don't really plan on staying in this industry too long. I don't. There's still some things I aspire to do. I still, for some reason, plan on joining the service. I don't know which branch. I'm still working on it. Probably the Air Force, probably the Army, maybe the Navy. I don't know. But I'm really gonna look into it and figure it out. We'll see. In the meantime, it's been pretty fun. I had a load going from Jacksonville to picking up in Savannah, Georgia after I dropped that one off, because I had to pick up in Dallas and then I had to go all the way over to Jacksonville, Florida to drop off. It was a load that was going to be dropped off at a rail yard. Here's the crazy thing about all of that. So I had to take a 10-hour reset in Pearl, Mississippi. And when I was in Pearl, Mississippi, it was at night. There was really no parking spots. There was one, but it was all the way in the back and it was dimly lit and it looked like a trap, so I didn't go there. So I decided to see if I can test my luck by checking to see if there was a reserve spot. So I paid $15. Miraculously, I got the last one. So I got to choose between a blind side or an alley dock. Tried the alley dock. Here's what happened. So I didn't set myself up right for the alley dock. So saw that the trailer was cutting close to the person that was actually on my driver's side. So I decided, okay, maybe I can just cut a little bit close, snake it a little bit, and then go back. As I was trying to do that, that's when a second guy had come around, saw what it is that I was trying to do. Because at first, that first guy, the one that I guess thought that I was going to hit him, he got out of the truck. He helped me a little bit. But then what happened is when somebody else was trying to help me, he started becoming aggressive. Because the second guy had went over to the first guy to see what the first guy wanted me to end up doing. It got to a point to where he was trying to have me go to the trucks that were in front of me. And I was getting super, super, super close to them. Super close to them. So I knew that if I would have continued on, it would have got to the point to where I would have been the trucks in front of me's problem, or I was going to end up having to reset. So the second guy was trying to tell me, don't even worry about what it is that he's trying to say. Just see if you can cut back. Cut a little bit close to his truck, and then just doing what I said I was going to do. So as I'm trying to do that, the first guy ends up becoming aggressive. He starts yelling, hitting the trailer, and telling me to go forward. Second guy was not having that. I didn't know how I was feeling. I was just thinking to myself, is he really hitting the trailer right now? He's hitting the trailer. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, if this is what intimidation looks like, is he really trying to? Nah. So then the second guy went over to where the first guy was. The first guy kept that same energy that he had against the trailer for whatever reason and decided to shove the second guy. So then before I know it, they get into a shoving match where the first guy is like, I'm going to call the cops. And the whole entire time, I'm like just sitting there. I'm just looking like not knowing what to do. And then the second guy's like, hey, don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. Just back it. Just cut it close. I got him. Because he was continuing to hit the trailer. And then it got to a point to where he took out his phone and started recording. So then I told the second guy, just help me with the blind side. Just help me back it. Just help me back it by doing a blind side. So he helped me with the blind side. I guess he was under the impression that the first guy was still going to call the cops, which he really didn't, because they didn't show up. So he told me, just tell him everything that happened. I was like, yeah, bet, I'll tell him. So the following day was cool. I woke up, finished my trip, and I made it to the rail yard probably around 6. Yeah, I know it was in the evening because it was dark out. So I made it over there. But arrived at T-Call location because that's where I'm so tired of this right now. I am. Just stay there. Stay there. So I ended up making it there. After I made it there, took me 3 hours to find an empty because they had me going all over the place. I ended up having a pre-plan to go to Savannah, Georgia. I couldn't find an empty though. It took me 3 hours to actually find one. Once I actually found one, ended up having to. I found one at Granier. I ended up having to go to Savannah, Georgia. And then from Savannah, Georgia, I had to drop off at Indiana. And then from Indiana, I had to go all the way somewhere in PA. I had to fuel at West Virginia, which I messed up because y'all ever heard of Dallas Pike? Yeah, don't go there. That one TA in West Virginia, that's in Wheeling, West Virginia, don't go straight. Don't. Trust me, I made that mistake. And yeah, that was bad because my tandem wells on my passenger side, the rear tandem wells, yeah, guardrail. Y'all know the rest of that story. And then I've had moments where I've been feeling as though I've been making mistakes almost every single day, and then every single time I try to tell myself I just want to give up, I just remember what my manager told me. And then sometimes what safety has told me, or one of the people at Swift has told me, which is just think of who would want to see you alive. And then I start thinking of that, and yeah. But that's all I have for you guys. I'll make more videos, but until then, peace, love. It's hot. I need this idol to work. But